Natalia Nagovitsyna was 47 years old and passionate about mountains. After losing her husband in a similar tragedy, she chose to keep climbing, searching for meaning in the heights. In August 2025, while descending Victory Peak, the highest mountain in Kyrgyzstan, she fractured her leg. Trapped above 23,000 feet, she held on for days in impossible conditions. Her case gripped the world. But to this day, the truth remains uncertain. Did Natalia really die up there? What happened during Luca's rescue attempt? Is she still alive, or did the mountain simply erase every trace of her? Tonight, we retrace the final steps of a climb turned tragedy and explore the power of loyalty and sacrifice. Stay with us until the end. What happened to Victory Peak, also known as Pobeda Peak or Cengiz Chokusu, towers at 24,406 feet on the border between Kyrgyzstan and China. It is notorious as the coldest and most unforgiving summit of the Tian Shan Range. Winds can reach 125 miles per hour. Sudden storms strike without warning, and even in summer, temperatures plunge below -4 degrees Fahrenheit. At that altitude, oxygen levels drop dangerously low, making the climb deadly even for seasoned mountaineers. On August 12, 2025, Natalia and her team began the descent. Somewhere along the route, she fell and broke her leg, leaving her unable to continue. She sheltered in a small tent, surrounded by snow and relentless winds. With limited food, water, and fuel, her strength faded as the days dragged on. Her ordeal carried a tragic echo. In 2021, on nearby Khan Tengri, Natalia had watched her husband Sergei suffer a fatal stroke during their climb. She refused to abandon him then, staying by his side until the end. Now, fate seemed to be repeating itself. Luca Sinigaglia's rescue attempt. Among those who heard the distress call was Italian climber Luca Sinigaglia, 49. He wasn't just a fellow mountaineer. Luca had been with Natalia during her husband's death and had stood by her side through grief. When he learned she was trapped on Pobeda, he didn't hesitate. On August 15th, Luca climbed more than 3,000 feet alone in brutal conditions, icy winds, thin air, and avalanche risks everywhere. He carried freeze-dried meals, energy bars, painkillers, and even a chemical heating pack. Against the odds, he reached Natalia alive, bringing her brief hope. But heroism came at a price. On the way down, Luca began showing signs of severe hypothermia, uncontrollable shivering, slurred speech, and disorientation. Combined with hypoxia, his breathing became shallow. His strength collapsed. Alone on the descent, his body could no longer fight the cold. He died on the mountain, sacrificing his life in a desperate attempt to save a friend. The fight against the impossible. In the following days, rescuers raced against time. Helicopters tried to reach the site, but were forced back by violent winds and low visibility. One aircraft was damaged during the attempt, underscoring the danger. On August 19th, a thermal drone flew over Natalia's tent. To everyone's surprise, it detected heat signals consistent with human presence. For a moment, hope soared, but in subsequent flights, no signals were detected. The mountain returned to silence. Teams of elite climbers tried to approach from the ground, but avalanches, ice falls, and heavy fog pushed them back. By August 27th, authorities officially called off the mission. Natalia was declared clinically dead, but her body has never been found. Pobeda kept its secret. Human impact. The story went viral worldwide. To many, Natalia symbolized the human spirit's defiance against impossible odds. A woman who lost her husband on the mountains, yet returned again and again, seeking life where most saw only death. Friends described her as calm, spiritual, and determined. For Natalia, climbing wasn't conquest. It was identity. Each ascent kept her husband's memory alive. Luca's death added even greater weight to the tragedy. He wasn't just another climber. He was a loyal friend who knowingly risked and ultimately gave his life in the name of solidarity. For the climbing community, his story became one of the most moving of the year. As one mountaineer put it, When you risk everything for someone else, the mountain becomes memory. How could Natalia have died? Officials declared her presumed dead on August 27, 2025, but without a body, the true cause remains uncertain. Experts suggest three possible scenarios. Extreme hypothermia. At -4 degrees Fahrenheit, even inside a tent, the human body loses heat faster than it can generate. Within hours, confusion, loss of coordination, and eventual cardiac arrest set in. Infection or septic shock. With an untreated open fracture, infection could have spread, leading to fever, sepsis, and organ failure. Hypoxia and altitude sickness. Above 23,000 feet, the lack of oxygen can trigger high-altitude cerebral edema, HACE, or pulmonary edema, HAPE, fluid buildup in the brain or lungs, causing hallucinations, confusion, and coma. Individually, each is deadly. Combined, broken leg, freezing cold, and oxygen starvation. Survival for more than 2 weeks was virtually impossible. The uncertainty. Still, doubt lingers. Did Natalia truly die there? Or did the mountain swallow her without leaving proof? Some wonder if the drone's thermal readings were mistaken, or if she tried to crawl out in search of help, vanishing into the snow forever. The mountain never gave an answer. Natalia's fate is a cruel reminder. In the death zone, the human body is only a temporary guest. Pobeda Peak does not forgive, it takes. She may never receive a burial, but for those who loved her, Natalia became part of the mountain. Alongside her rests the memory of Luca Sinigaglia, the man who proved that friendship can be stronger than the fear of death. Some believe death is the end, others that it's only the beginning. But on the frozen heights of Pobeda, the truth is simple. We don't conquer the mountain conquers us. Subscribe for more real investigations, where we uncover not only how life ended, but what it truly meant in its final moments.